What's the client?
A new project for install automation at a lower level property. This is actually, would you believe it, a converted council house, and we've put a fully integrated lighting and electrical control system in, and obviously it's cabled, as you can see, for all manner of HD capabilities, high definition component, HDMI, anything over Cat5. The property is in a second fix stage, kitchen yet to go in, waiting for flooring, etc. So as you can see, the lighting panels are just actually being programmed as we speak. This is a Helvar system. This property actually utilises two 8-channel dimmers, two 8-channel relays, an intelligent lighting router, which is effectively the brain, communicates between the circuits and the light switches, so you can actually program up any of the buttons on this panel to control any circuit in the property. And one of the advantages of our OpenAV system as well means that you can come into this system on an iPhone from anywhere in the world and actually control anything within the property. So as you can see, it's been designed in a modern contemporary style, completely open plan, and what that means is that we can get the scene lighting absolutely perfect in the room. So once this room's finished, and we'll do another video for you at that point in time, it means that when the client comes into the property, they can actually select one of the buttons off the panel and create the mood straight away. So it's either I'm coming home, I want to cook tea, or I just want to sit in front of the television, or I'm going to relax with a fire and a nice glass of wine. So as you can see, totally capable. Now as we move under the stairs, you can see we actually designed this area to make sure that there was enough room to put the equipment in. It was going to be a bit of a dead space under the stairs, so although it did impact a little bit on the stairs, it gave us somewhere to put everything. Again, you can see another light switch on the way in. This could be used for the stairs, it could be used to control the lounge, hall lights. As you can see, they've been indented, low LED, low energy lights, which is a useful point because all of the lamp fittings in here, so you can see we've actually got 5 amp lamp fittings here, will be fitted with CFL or LED fittings. So basically, again, as you come in, you'll be able to select an option on the actual lighting panel to switch on all the table lamps, which are all the low energy fittings. Extremely useful feature and very, very energy efficient, and will save the client a fortune in the long run in terms of lighting. Now, as you can see, as we move underneath, you can see we're always having to compromise and work with other services in terms of fitting around them. So what we've got here is got the heating system down here, which is not ideal for us, but at the end of the day you have to work with what you've got. You can see all of the cables now these are all run. This is what is confronting us normally. You can see the termination box is ready to go on the wall. All of the cables are run on a point-to-point basis, so these are all run back to the sockets behind the televisions, and then we terminate them all here, so you can effectively then patch any system through any way you like. You can see we've also got a light switch here. That's actually going to come out and be used as a Dali point. Now, what that allows us to do is integrate the lighting system into the audio and video system, and effectively means that when you push a button to do one thing on the audio and video system, it'll have an impact on all the other rooms. Now, as we move upstairs, conventional layout, it has been substantially extended. There's basically 4 bedrooms. There's the beds ready to go in, little loft area, and you can see up here we've got all of the termination points and everything for the Cat5, etc. Yep, so that's all ready to go. And again, one of the big things everybody forgets is a lot of the architects, sometimes they provision for the sockets in the corner of the room, and then now the client wants to hang the televisions on the wall. So you can see there we're actually set up with all the relevant points behind the television. As we go into one of the other rooms, you can see exactly the same setup again. Yeah. All the TV points are actually mounted on the wall, ready for a plasma or etc. to be hung up there. Basically, sockets either side of the bed, and again, another light switch. Now the great thing is, obviously these circuits are a dimmer, so although they're only down lights, effectively what it means is that we can switch these on at only 10 or 20% of the consumption. So if these were, for example, I don't know, 30 watt fittings or something like that, if you turn them on full in here, you would have you see you've got 4 fittings in here. If you turn them on full in here, you would have 120 watts, whereas if we actually set the lighting program on the switch so that button 1 just switches them on at 10%, you'd only be using 12 watts in this room, even though you can use conventional halogen lamps. You could also fit CFLs or LEDs in here. However, at the moment the dimming capability of those fittings is pretty flaky, so we wouldn't specifically advise doing it. The situation with the CFL is you do have to warm them up first to get them to dim properly, so it gets quite complicated on the lighting control, but we can handle it. Typical other uses, this might be button 1 could actually control the lights in here at 10%, 2 could put them on full if you were reading or sewing or something like that, if anybody ever does that anymore. Button 3 could switch the hall on. So you could actually press button 3 there and that could switch the hall lights on, and button 4 could do table lamps on either side of the bed, for example. So very, very advanced, incredibly flexible, and it means that any light switch in the property is an any-way light switch. So as you can see, we're moving through the hall now. The bathroom, hopefully we'll have some lights on for you in a minute, but you can see we've actually fitted within even this type of property a backbox TV in here. Now that will be linked into the system, so you'll be able to have multiple high definition sources whilst you're in the bath. I've actually got a client that actually uses their Xbox in the bath, would you believe? It gets through quite a few remotes. I don't think they float very well, but incredibly relaxing, and it's a very, very nice feature really. It just allows you to chill out the end of a long hard day. And that actually is routed up to a speaker in the ceiling. Now that's, you think one speaker, is that just mono? No, it's actually a dual stereo speaker, so it utilises 2 tweeters to actually control the stereo. Other features in here worth looking at are, we've got lighting obviously above the mirror, that will be handled from the system in here as well, and we've got lighting, as you can see, through a perspex section on the back boxes, so it'd be really interesting to see what this looks like once we get the lighting fired up. Other great things with this is because it's low voltage, you can actually fit the light switch inside the room as well. Okay. And coming into the master bedroom, much the same as the others. Cable provision for plasma straight on the wall, and then you can see you've got light switches in the master bedroom. Clients decided to go with the actual flow and actually have a light switch on either side of the bed, and with a 5 amp socket on either side of the bed as well, so they can actually utilise individual reading lights in each room. So the right hand side of the room would be set up to actually control the both table lamps, but also allow you to have individual control of your local one. And you can also have buttons set up on there so that it will actually switch the bathroom light on at a low level from here. We've had people with children whereby on one side of the bed, heaven forbid if the wife just does all the jobs, but we have known that the control on the one side of the bed will route straight through to a baby's room at a very low level, so that pressing button 4 on there, for example, could switch the hall on at 10% and the baby's room on at 5%, so it means you can actually get to the room without waking everybody up in the house and without really shocking yourself awake and tripping over the dog or cat or whatever else. And in the ensuite, similar sort of setup with the shower, etc. And I think there's one other room up here as well. And again, basically once you get the layout for the house, every room effectively becomes a mirror image of the others. Okay. Now as we go back down, okay, moving back through the downstairs, actually come to where we're actually physically configuring the lighting at the moment, and this is all you need for the control of the lighting in the whole of this property. At the top left hand side you have 2 8-channel dimmers, so that's running 16 channels of dimming, and below it we have 2 sets of 8-channel relays, so that will control 16 circuits of on and off. Typically they're used for outside lights, table lamps with energy efficient bulbs in, LEDs, CFLs, fluorescence and everything else. You can, with the correct balance, dim practically anything with the Helvar system, and fluorescence, etc. are no problem either. On the right hand side is the router, that's the brain, and effectively that sits between all of the lighting controls, the dimmers and the relays, and the light switches. And basically the light switch talks to the router, and we've programmed up button 1 on light switch in the lounge to switch on, say, circuits 1 at 10% in dimmer 1, and maybe circuit 3 at 20% and perhaps another relay. So it's pretty simple and very easy to program up. So that's the first phase of the first fix. So I hope you enjoyed that brief insight into what we do at the start of the job, and we'll bring you further videos as we work our way through it. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening. Now, after the second fix, this is where we get to actually program up the lighting, which is quite entertaining, pretty complex. Most of the stuff have got degrees, but once it's done, it means that any panel in the whole of the property can control any light switch or any light circuit. So we basically program it up, and as you can see, we're using a wireless router, and what that actually means is we can actually wander around the property with a laptop, actually configuring the lighting scenes and zones to suit the customer's exact needs while they're there. So we can actually sit there with a laptop and say, well, what do you think of that? Oh, could you drop that down a little bit? Fine, great, bang, and then we set it up on that button. So it's that clever. So we're actually, as you can see, programming up now. Use it through a wireless router, and you can see that wireless router's connected into the brain of the system, which obviously has an Ethernet port, so that can be connected into the whole of the property. And that also facilitates and makes it easy for us to allow you from anywhere in the world to control anything within your home. Clever. Okay, wait for the next instalment.